I'm standing in the middle of the White Sands National Park in New Mexico. It's a beautiful place to be, filled with rolling sand dunes. And they're unique sand dunes. They're white because of the gypsum that makes up these sand dunes. And they go for miles. It's a fun place to explore and hike around. As I've been hiking around here with my wife, I've also been thinking of some of the spiritual rules I've put into practice over the years and seen good results from. One of those rules being the importance of instructing mortal mind with immortal truth. And by mortal mind, I'm talking about any consciousness of suffering. Mary Baker Eddy, the woman who discovered Christian Science, writes in her textbook, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, to remove the error producing disorder, you must calm and instruct mortal mind with immortal truth. So to turn around an error in thought, there needs to be an instruction of truth that dissolves that error, much like a teacher instructing a math student. If the teacher notices the student has incorrectly solved a problem and came up with the wrong answer, the teacher points out the error to the student and shows the student how to solve the problem correctly and come up with the right answer. And the student is benefited by the teacher's instructions. Things get better. The thought of the student improves, and he or she is more capable of solving the next problem correctly. Well, likewise, in our everyday experience, if suffering starts to pop up, there needs to be some spiritual instruction going on to reverse that suffering and remove it from your experience. And the best way to remove that suffering is with an instruction of immortal truth. Let me give you an example. So last winter, I was exposed to people around me that were suffering from colds, and popular belief would say I was going to pick up that cold and suffer likewise. And one morning I wake up and there they are, symptoms of cold starting to show up in my body. And I think about this rule, instruct mortal mind with immortal truth. And I decide I really didn't want to suffer for a week from a miserable cold. I'd rather stop it and keep myself healthy. And I knew there was a way to do that. Christian Science teaches us how to do that. And this was one of those rules that I could use, instruct mortal mind with immortal truth. Mortal mind was telling me, Evan, you're physical and you've been affected by germs and now you're going to suffer. So I just turned that around and I said, no, I am spiritual. I'm governed by God, not by mortal mind, and I don't have to suffer. And mortal mind said, well, you are physical and your health is physical and is vulnerable to these germs that you've been exposed to. So I just instructed mortal mind with the truth there, and I said, no, I'm spiritual. I'm exposed only to God's goodness. God loves me and cares for me and gives me everything I need to stay healthy and well here. I'm not a sponge soaking in bad experiences from around me. I'm more like a light bulb. I'm a ray of light emanating God's perfection, God's goodness, and God's health. My health is not a variable state of matter. My health is a fixed state of spirit. And any suggestion mortal mind came up with that would argue I had to suffer and was going to suffer for the next week or so, I just turned it around with the spiritual truth. I'm a spiritual man living my spiritual life with spiritual health, and I knew from experience that understanding this spiritual truth would neutralize any germs around me, render them harmless, and keep me in a healthy state. And as I got my thought very calm with these truths and just found my peace with them, those symptoms just vanished and went away in a period of maybe an hour or two, and I was completely free of them, and I stayed well. It happened again a couple of months later. Again, I was exposed to people around me with colds, and one morning I wake up and there those symptoms are, and I just put the same rule into practice again. I did the same thing. I just instructed thought with the truth. I'm a spiritual man living my spiritual life. My health is not variable state of matter. It's a fixed state of spirit. Nothing has changed between me and God, and I can keep on living my healthy spiritual life today, no matter what seems to be going on around me. And those symptoms just vanished, went away, and I stayed healthy and didn't pick up a cold all winter long, for which I'm very grateful for. This is a rule that you can put into practice as well. You're never helpless. There's always something you can do. Prayer always makes a difference. So if you feel any type of symptoms coming on, step back, instruct mortal mind with immortal truth, and turn it around. Keep yourself healthy and free just the way God intends you to be.